Do you ever talk about, one thing we talk about sometimes is this whole Blake Lively Baldoni like mess. I mean, it seems like mutually assured destruction. And yet I see Blake was down for so long, and maybe her PR machine is starting to make a couple of moves. They announce a development deal, this development of a movie with Lionsgate that she's going to star in and produce, but it's just a development deal. And I always think Ryan Reynolds is behind her. How much power does he's a very loyal husband, I'm going to say that, but how much power does he have? And do you think she comes out on top in this battle with Baldoni? You have any thoughts on that?
It's interesting. I have been following this because I find it to be a pretty fascinating legal case. I was a lawyer way back when, before I was a journalist, and I litigated cases like this in the entertainment industry. And there's two tracks here. There's the legal case, which I think is pretty interesting because they are just absolutely trying to exploit every possible perceived weakness here and going after personal data and going after friends, trying to subpoena Taylor Swift, all of these things that are just like cutthroat legal tactics. And then there's the PR road, which is pretty fascinating in itself because you have this window into the dark arts of celebrity publicity, which I'm sure you're very familiar with, and most people don't know about. And the fact that were people out there trying to game the internet to try to stir up sentiment of pro or con one way or the other on these two. To me, that's pretty interesting. I actually do think, to answer your question, that this is survivable for Blake Lively.
What about Baldoni?
Baldoni, I'm less clear about because of
he's not married to Ryan Reynolds. Is that
the Ryan Reynolds factor is a big one here because
billions
whatever
of dollars.
studio gets in business with Justin Baldoni is never working with Ryan Reynolds again, and that is a powerful, I think, motivator there. The only caveat is if he is completely vindicated in this legal proceeding and ends up winning and ends up getting a bunch of money and ends up, quote unquote, clearing his name, perhaps studios would work with him. He's also got this billionaire investor behind him. I believe his name is Steve Sarowitz, who is the investor in his company and was the reason why he was able to get the rights to this book in the first place. And perhaps the money there could take this all the way to some kind of an outcome that is favorable to Baldoni and gets his name back, so to speak.
And then, not to mention, Baldoni directed It Ends With Us, the movie with Blake. The budget was $25 million. It ballooned to $40 million. They made $350 million.
That is the insane thing about this whole controversy is that they were sitting on a huge hit. It was a great situation for everybody. I mean, how many times have you heard stories about the star and the filmmaker hating each other?
Right.
And the two leads didn't get along and they really went after each other. And you know what? You just sit on it and ignore it because it's a hit and it's going to be good for your career regardless.
Make a sequel.
Yes. The Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively camp decided not to do that. They decided to litigate, and this is where we are.